you 5 options, and these 5 options are if it was my money, and some of it might be my money. Again, this is a conversation between me and my brother. And stay tuned, because the 5th option is the option I would choose. I'm providing 5 options, a little bit for everyone. Some things that if you just want to let it sit, some things if you just want to be more engaged, if you prefer vintage, if you prefer modern. So I have something for everyone. But the 5th option is the way I would go. I've taken some notes, I've given some thoughts on this. So the first option would be to buy sealed product. People in the future, at some point that product sealed holds premium value. Someone wants to rip it open. Someone wants to open the 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card in a pack or box. And the years go by, there's fewer and fewer of it out there. Pokemon First Edition is a good example. Logan Paul has been spending, I don't know, $350,000 a box because it's so rare. And he's just keeping them. He's opened some, but it's so rare, and things that are so rare in time, that sealed product, it should appreciate. Now, you do have to do some research on what would be good product to buy. 2003 basketball has LeBron James rookie cards. I believe it's 2000 product has Tom Brady rookie cards. So it does depend, 1989 has Griffey rookie cards, Barry Sanders rookie cards, but that's overproduced in a lot of it. Those boxes might be hard. There's so many still unopened boxes of junk wax era that it hasn't appreciated the same way other stuff that's more rare might. So it does take some research. My first options, if you had $500, $2,000, $5,000, one option is buy a box, buy a case, unopened, and just let it sit. Imagine if you had done that with Pokemon back in 1999. Telling me, no, I want to be a little more hands-on with cards here. I don't want to just let a product sit. So that's my first option. The second option would be getting into vintage rookie cards. And when I say vintage, you want to be buying things pre-80s. If you can, even pre-70s. If you have the money to go out there and buy a legend like Jackie Robinson's rookie card in any grade. I mean, Jackie Robinson is taught during Black History Month, and even other months, of course, but as a teacher, I always bring up Jackie Robinson in February because it's something fun to teach and inspiring, and my students latch on, and every kid in America learns about Jackie Robinson. It's bigger than sports cards, and if you could find things like that. Recently, a Babe Ruth just sold, I believe, I'm going to put it up right here, I think $7 million. We're talking about last month, this month. Earlier this month, this Babe Ruth went for, I believe, $7 million. Maybe it's $5 million. I'll post it next to me. And in the past few years, you're seeing more and more cards go in the $1 million range. They're normally vintage sports cards. Some people got overhyped on current day modern autographs. There's a Tom Brady that I believe sold for over $1 million, rookie auto, that someone lost a whole bunch of money on. It's now selling for less than 300 grand. So you want to stick with cards. These vintage cards have a long track record. Even Tom Brady's auto overheated and fell tremendous. So vintage rookie cards would be next. That's where, you're talking about scarcity. That's a big one. How rare something is, how rare a card is humongous. That's number one on the list, is how scarce something is. So if you find something that's rare, the further back you go into rookie cards, the more rare they become. I'm gonna skip the ad and keep going. So that's number 2. 1 would be buy sealed product, let it sit. That's a long-term investment. You get rid of it when it peaks, the market goes up, get rid of it. Vintage rookie cards is number 2. You buy something you're interested in, someone you like, you let it sit, you sell it, however it may go. It's also vintage cards I'd probably let sit, but if you can make a return on it, get rid of it and get into something else. Depends how much you want to be involved. Do you want to keep something 6 months, a year, 10 years? So the third option is if you want to be a little more hands-on, you buy and you want modern. You can do this with vintage as well. But this is also an option if you want something modern. You go to card shows, you go to card shops, you buy modern cards to grade. We're back in an era now where if you can get it graded cheap enough, whether it be, I recommend SGC or PSA. Those seem to be the top 2 in running away with it. I'm interested to see what Tag does, which is an AI company that provides a lot more information. We'll see where that goes in the next 5 to 10 years. Not for this video. So the third option is buying modern cards with the idea of maybe you buy 10 cards. You spend $500 on these 10 cards. You spend another $500 to get them graded. You're in $1,000. You have to make more than that on these graded copies, so you have to pick wisely. Maybe I chose too high. You pick 5 cards at $100. Maybe you don't have this kind of crazy money. And so you start small. You buy 5 cards at a card show. You think they'll grade well. You spend another $100 to get the 5 cards graded. And maybe that's even high. But we'll call it $100. Shipping, everything, you're in $200. Well, if you can turn those 5 cards into $400, all right. I mean, that's doubling your money, but that takes work. That takes being hands-on. It's harder to do on eBay or through the internet because you're not getting to see the card in your hand. But yes, an option is definitely, if you're a little more want to be doing this weekly, it's a side hustle, it's something you want to do after work, maybe you only work part-time. Yes, you could be trying to find modern or vintage cards to grade and send them into PSA or SGC and try to flip them and keep it going and invest your return and invest more and keep going, and it starts a cycle, you know. So that is an option, but this is an option for someone who wants to be. Remember, stay tuned for the 5th option, because that's the option I choose. That's the option I'd recommend to my brother or any friend out there to do. The 4th option would be to crack cards. So maybe you find a card in a Beckett slab or an HGC, some off slab that's a 9 or 10 and it's selling for, not very much. You can always crack this slab and send it into PSA or SGC. Maybe you think it graded a 7 and it deserves a 9. Maybe it's even a PSA slab. You think this card deserves higher, so you buy it, you crack it, you send it in to get graded with the idea of getting a higher grade. That would be the 4th option. There's risk in this option. There's risk in, you buy the card, you got to crack it safely. So that's number 1. You got to get, a lot of time you know what you're doing. You practice a few times on low grade stuff, cheap stuff, and you'll get it down. It's not incredibly difficult, but there is a tiny risk in that. Then you have to send it off to get graded, a little risk in that. Then the risk comes, what grade does it get? And then it has to get shipped back to you. You have to ship it to the buyer. So there's a lot of moving pieces. This is not, again, it's not as easy as this option is just buy, sell, or buy, hold, sell. This takes work, but maybe that's for you. And I wanted to provide options for everyone. I mean, this takes maybe going to 2, 3, 4 card shows a year. Maybe even setting up to sell at a few card shops here. And if that's for you, this option is great. Now, the 5th option is the option I would go. Before I give that, if you found this interesting, informative, this is not my usual video. Normally I go over pop counts or really dive deeper into certain research. But this is a little bit different. So if you like this and want to see more of this, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe so you help the channel grow. And you never miss a video. So the 5th option, the thing I do is I would go back to vintage. I wouldn't buy raw. I wouldn't buy low grade. If I had the money, I'd buy high grade vintage rookie cards. Bill Russell has a 1957 Fleer and a 1961 Topps, and that's it. Did I mix that up? I think I did. 1957 Topps, 1961 Fleer. He actually has 2 cards in 1961 Fleer. He has 3 cards total. You want a Bill Russell card, one of the best NBA players of all time, lives down in history to this day. I've never seen him play. I have one of his cards in my collection. I'd love more. I can't afford it. Get what you can afford. But man, if you could dive into a Bill Russell, if you can get that Jackie Robinson we talked about. You saw the Babe Ruth went for how much? It's ridiculous. You don't have $5 million to spend, but maybe you got $5,000 and you could put it to one of these high grade, rare vintage rookie cards. And even more so, there's autographed rookie cards. They're very rare. Wilt Chamberlain, his rookie card is pretty rare as is. I'm going to put it up next to me, but I believe there's only about 2,000 in a PSA slab. In autograph, there's only 6. There's only 6 of these in a PSA slab autographed, and one recently sold for $273,000. That's a lot of money. A ton of money. Why? Because it's very rare. He's a legend. Players that are alive, they can always still be signing. So Griffey, I think, already has 2,000 autographed copies, and that'll keep growing. Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders. I don't think Barry Bonds signs, so that's something you can get an autographed rookie card of his. It might be pretty rare. That's the kind of research you'll find on my channel. That's what I dive deep into, and I do think these autographed rookie cards, vintage players that especially are dead, they can't sign anymore. I think Tony Gwynn has about 300 signed autographed rookie cards with Topps in a PSA slab. Tony Gwynn's been dead for a decade now. On the flip side, Wade Boggs from the same set, he has more autographed copies, still alive, can still sign, will probably still sign. So information like that does matter, but that's where I put my money. I think that we'll see. You don't even have to hold on to that stuff very long. I think somewhere in the next 2 to 10 years, there's going to be a big jump up in price in some of these more rare autographed rookie cards. So those are my 5 options. That's what I would say where I would put my money. If you have money and want to get into it, that's where I'd say you should put your money. Comment below, what do you think's the best option? What option would you want to give a try? And what option do you currently use that you've had success with? Or maybe an option you haven't had success with. So comment below. I'd love to get that conversation going. I'd love to reply back and read what you wrote. Hit the like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching. If this is your first time watching, my name is Jason and I started Professor Sports Card channel about a year ago. I have a bachelor's in journalism, a master's in education, and a lifetime in sports
What
cards.
up, everybody? This is Robert Ory, aka Big Shot Bob, and you're watching Professional Sports Cards. Hey, by the way, go buy my rookie card.